Hi everyone, this is Moshe at the Louisville Tutoring Agency. We've had a lot of calls lately about the Summer Enrichment Program, and some of the staff here suggested that it might be useful if we make a short video from one of the tutors to kind of explain what the Summer Enrichment Program is, and I volunteered. So the Summer Enrichment Program really addresses a whole host of subject areas, of academic subjects. But the two most popular every single year are writing, specifically writing and grammar improvement, and number one by far is math. And so we have a very specific math boot camp program that we run through during the summer here, and it ends up being really useful, and we created it several years ago specifically in order to address the arithmetic problems that a lot of our students have. So a lot of times when students get to around Algebra 1 or beyond, they're working on much more advanced math, and there's no time to go back and deal with the arithmetic problems that they have. But a lot of times those gaps are pretty serious for two reasons. One, they're using the systems that they were taught in elementary school, all of those methods that we were all taught, and they're very weak and very bad. And also, they're not getting a chance to really practice them, and so they become very calculator dependent. During the year, as tutors, we really don't get a chance to address those because the students have so many tests, so much homework, so much more advanced math to deal with, that we just leave it alone. But that actually causes more problems because the students become more and more calculator dependent. And we always say, look, if we ever get a chance to, we'll work on this separately, but we never really have a chance to do that. So the summer ends up being a really opportune time. So during the summer, in the math bootcamp program, what we basically do is take the students all the way back to basics and reteach them arithmetic and beyond in a much more efficient way, okay? And I'll give you a little bit of an example. So I had a student the other day who came in here, and she had trouble in HTP with a particular problem, okay? And she's in Algebra 2, okay? So I'll go over here and work this problem. She's in Algebra 2, so she clearly is an advanced math student. However, her basic math skills were a problem. So we'll rework this problem here just so that you can see. This ends up being a really great example of exactly what students are having trouble with, okay? So this is a problem that she had to do, and she had no trouble starting to solve it. In order to solve this for x, she's going to square both sides, right? And then the square root disappears, so it becomes 4x plus 1 over 17 equals 3 squared, which is 9. And this is fine. Now at this stage, this really now is an Algebra 1 problem. For many people, it was an Algebra 1 problem even to begin with. But this is where people get into trouble. So if we multiply this side by 17, which is what you should do, and this side by 17, the 17's cancel. And you get 4x plus 1 equals 9 times 17. Now this is where we get into an issue. So she immediately went to reach for her calculator, okay? But if you're an advanced math student, you should be able to look at this and go, oh, that's 153, okay? But the reason that I can do that in a few seconds is not because I'm a genius. It's really just because there's a specific method that I use that's very different from the one that we were taught in school. So in school, you were probably taught to do something like this. 17 times 9, and then you do 9 times 7, which is 63. You carry the 6. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 6 is 15. So it's 153. This is a very slow method, and so I understand why students are reluctant to go to the side and do this problem. It's also embarrassing if you have to go to the side and solve this. So they reach for their calculators, but that ends up taking a little bit longer, and it slows down the momentum of the problem. So what I suggest that students do, or this is one of the things that we teach them to do in the Summer Enrichment Program, is we break this into 10 and 7, right? And then it becomes a much easier problem. We just do 9 times 10, which is 90, and 9 times 7, which is 63. And then that's added. So it's 153. And what's great is in the Summer Enrichment Program, after a while, after we run through this several times, it's not even necessary to write this. The students just see 90 and 63 and then combine it, okay? We even teach them faster ways to do this kind of addition. Instead of them adding in columns, which is how we normally do, like we add 0 plus 3 and 9 is 15, we actually don't do this. What we do is we teach them to see this as 10 and 53. This is 153. It's just easier to see it that way. Eventually, when you start to do this, you don't require any kind of writing utensil. You don't need a pen, a pencil. You just start to see numbers and to break them up in this way. So we continued with this problem with this student that I had a few days ago that I'm talking about. So he or she was fine. You subtract 1, and we got to 4x equals 152. And she knew to divide by 4, of course. She's a great student, but then he or she again had a problem. And she went to the calculator for the second time. And then I told her, look, do not go for the calculator. I want to see if you can break this up. It's much easier than it seems. And so then she went to the side, and again she used another slow method, right? She kind of said, oh, 152 divided by 4. And this is the box that we remember from when we were younger from school. It's not a very efficient method. So what you do is you go 4 into 15. Well, 4 goes in there 3 times because 3 times 4 is 12. We subtract, it's 3. We bring down the 2. 4 into 32 is 8 if you remember your multiplication tables. 8 times 4 is 32. And you get 0. So the answer is 38. This is very slow. I watched her do this. And so I understand, again, why a student like that is very hesitant to go to the side and do it. First, it's embarrassing, it's slow, and it's much faster to just go to the calculator. But she should be able to, as an advanced math student, be able to run through this and get the answer quickly. So I look at that and know that it's 38 within a few seconds, not because I'm doing this, because I do something completely different. So here what I do in my mind, and this is what we teach the students to do, is to break 152 into 100 plus 40 plus 12. Okay? So it's 3 smaller problems that are much easier. Now, dividing 100 by 4 isn't so difficult. It's like $1 divided by 4. It's 4 quarters. So this becomes 25. This becomes 10, 4 into 40. And 4 into 12 is 3. And so this is 25, 35, 38, and so the answer is 38. And what's great is, as soon as we get students to run through this several times, they're not actually writing these pieces out. I'm kind of doing it here for illustration, you know, but students just get to a point where they're able to see it just like we do. So that's just a small taste of some of the math that we do in the boot camp during the summer. If you have any other questions about the Summer Enrichment Program, just give us a call.